Hello everyone, today I'm going to be doing a ranking of every Comforting release besides the singles and the group split he did because he only really did one song for that. Yeah, I'm just gonna get straight to it. Comforting is a side project from the very prolific Damien Ojeda, who is more so known for his projects Sadness, Fra, Life. But Comforting has always been one of my favorite projects from him. It's very noisy, very abrasive, but also can be very emotional and beautiful. So the first time I'm going to be talking about is the one on screen here, which is a collaboration he did with his brother Sebastian. The album's called Fosfino. I don't really know if I pronounced that right, but the reason it's at the bottom is because this doesn't even sound like Comforting. This is a lot lower. Like, this is way below the next release I'm going to be talking about. Yeah, this one's just not good at all. I don't feel any connection or emotion towards it. It's not offensive, it's just bland. It has maybe like the slightest noise elements, but it's like noisier pop electronic music. There's some cool choices of arrangement, but it's just nothing really. I just do not feel anything with this release. Yeah, so let's get on to the next release then. Next up is his split with, again, I'm gonna butcher this pronunciation, Espiaglire. The album cover on screen right now isn't the actual cover of that album. I was originally gonna talk about the EP, the Untitled EP instead. The songs on that EP are exactly the same as the songs on this split. It's just the split has Espiaglire side 2, and it's basically just like harsh noise walls with a bit more variation with and it also has these weird dungeon synth intros. It's actually really cool, bit of a cool addition, makes it stand out a bit, but nothing that really boosts this release at all. Comforting side is actually really cool. It has a really nice atmosphere to it, but again, compared to other stuff he's released and produced, it's not really anything noteworthy at all. Next up is the other Comforting split with Cole. I was very surprised by this when I listened to it because I was a fan of both Comforting and Cole before I had heard this split, and this was not what I was expecting. Cole's side, he doesn't really show any of his harsher, noisier elements, which is really strange for doing a split with Comforting. His side is mainly just piano-driven ambience. It's really an interesting choice for this release, but Comforting side is pretty good. Actually, the second track has a real cool rhythmic drive to it. Nothing outstanding, that's why it's quite low on this list, but the contrast between the two sides is actually really cool and does bump this up a bit, but at the same time it doesn't feel very cohesive, which also brings it down a bit. So it's a double-edged sword, that contrast. Next is End Garden. This album, nothing necessarily stands out other than the production. The production on this actually feels different than a lot of other Comforting releases. It sounds almost cleaner, which is strange. I don't know, maybe I need to give it another couple listens, because I think this is the release I listened to the least in preparation for this video. I do remember it being cleaner than the others though, and I remember the second track, it's like not really harsh noise at all. It's any noise components at all. It's more so just ambient, almost like electronic track, which he does quite a bit with this project. Yeah, it's good. It's very good. Actually, this is quite far ahead of the splits and of course Fosfino. This is quite a step up. Okay, now we're getting to the really good stuff with Tantrum up next here. This EP sounds like innocence being taken away, and that's a very emotional, thematic approach, and it ties in very well with all the song titles and even the name of the album or EP, Tantrum. It's a child acting out. There's a sense of not being understood in this album too, and being degraded and having your feelings diminished because you're young. It's a very interesting approach, and a lot of people wouldn't think about all these different meanings and ideas in a noise project. It sounds frustrated, it sounds confused, it sounds like a plethora of emotions, and combine that with how noisy it is, because it's noisy even for a Comforting release. It's especially noisy. You know, it makes for a very powerful release. Anyway, let's move on to the next. Now, this might be a bit of a controversial take, but ST1, or Self-Titled 1 is what I'm guessing it stands for, is at number 3 here, and it's controversial because I feel like most people would have this at their number 1 place, but because this is definitely the most accessible out of all Comforting releases besides Phosphino. It's definitely still not easy listening, but a lot of this album kind of sounds like a darker take on Damien's other projects like Sadness and Life. The ambience on this is amazing, like second to none. Sets up the heavier portions so well. Incredible composition. To be expected with Damien.
Although this is the fan favorite, I do have two above it, so let's get into those now.
Man, this album is insanely heavy. I have this as one of the heaviest albums ever. This is really something else. It's chaotic, it's destructive, it's emotional, it's insane, it's incredible. This was my number one for a really long time. I really love this release. It's just slipped a little bit. It's at number 2 now, but still, it's this and number 1. I don't want to say could go back and forth, but they're very close. I mean, Comforting is one of my favorite projects ever, so it makes sense. This is some of the best noise-inspired music you can ever find. This is just incredible. But enough glazing, let's get to number 1. And finally at number 1 I have I'm a Failure. This album, take everything I said about the last one and just times it by 100. This is incredible. The first track is an amazing entrance, long-winded ambient section that just turns into this wall of noise. Second track is my favorite Comforting song ever, Memories of Her Face, Summer in My Eyes. It has this really beautiful clean guitar riff, and then it just gets destroyed by this wall of noise, and you can just hear this guitar riff in the back of this insanely overwhelming wall of noise until it starts alternating between the riff and the noise, and one of my favorite parts of music in general. And then the next song after that, I Was in Room 1024. Everyone who knows Comforting, or even has a somewhat extensive knowledge of Damien's work, they know that breakdown session in I Was in Room 1024, and it is so cool. When it comes in, it's almost like a groovy, I guess, but then as it goes on, it becomes anxiety inducing. It adds in all these extra bass kicks and then all this extra background noise, and it just crescendos and then suddenly goes away. And then the song after that, with that section that's basically just him weeping, it's impactful and a very beautiful statement. But and then the song after that is the final track, where we are sent off with this ambient composition that really gives you time to reflect on everything you've just heard. This really lets you absorb everything you've listened to, and that's what makes it so cohesive. Thank you for watching. Hopefully I didn't ramble on and stutter and mispronounce stuff too much, but regardless, making these videos is pretty fun, and I intend on making more. Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. Bye bye.